Joining me now is Allison Morgan, and she is the CEO of VM Property Services. So let's say you're one of the persons overseas and you're seeing the pictures on the internet of what is available for land. Who is going to be your trusted advisor to make sure that this land is really available, and to make sure too that there's integrity in the process of assessing the value of the land? You're working with a reputable realtor, and when the process comes for you to purchase the land, you can trust that from end to end you're getting the best possible advice, and also a full picture of what is actually available in the market for persons to buy, whether for commercial purposes or for your personal asset portfolio. So, Allison, welcome. A pleasure to have you in the hot seat, but only hot because VM is on fire today.
We are.
How are you feeling?
I am well. I'm absolutely excited to be here. Every opportunity that I get to participate with my company to lift Jamaicans, I am over the moon. So I'm very happy to be here.
So explain for those who are watching live, what exactly does VM Property Services offer to clients?
Okay, so VM Property Services is the real estate division of the VMG. It's been around for over 33 years, and we are your go-to experts, emphasis on experts, we're your go-to experts for everything real estate. From searching for the property, if you have existing property that you would like to sell so you can upgrade, we assist with that. So we do everything real estate related to purchasing, selling, leasing, residential, commercial, for investment. And for the persons who are joining this live today, this cohort is particularly focused on acquiring residential properties. So this is what we do for you. We help you to search for the residential properties. We assess the viability of it, like Crystal mentioned. We get the valuation report, which is absolutely critical. You can't, that's your Bible for purchasing real estate, right? And it has to be conducted by certified professionals. We help you to get the surveyor's ID report. If you need to go a bit further, if you're doing building or you want to expand on the residential, then you might need a quantity surveyor. So you can access all those services through VM Property Services. And we are going to make sure that the process is hassle-free. I've been doing this for over 25 years, Crystal, and I can tell you something. A lot of persons want to acquire property. Real estate portfolio or acquisition of real estate is a single equalizer across the globe. It doesn't matter where you are. So real estate purchased in a arm's length transaction with good faith on both ends usually give extensive yield. So the equity will appreciate over time. Sounds like you want me to say that again.
Yes, please.
Okay, so let me go slow. So real estate acquisition purchased in an arm's length transaction in a fair deal over time yields an extensive ROI, that is your return on your investment. So your equity appreciation occurs just by buying and holding real estate in your portfolio. So I want to ensure that Jamaicans understand that VM Group and VM Property Services can demystify home ownership. If someone is not au fait with the process, it can be overwhelming. And you're hearing jargons that you can't even understand what they mean. And you're fearful. And I understand the fear, because this is usually the single largest investment that anyone will make. The upfront cost and the injection that the individual has to put in. You're talking about, usually between 5 to 10% for the deposit, and then maybe another 5 to 8% from the closing cost, depending on the specifics of the particular property, etc. For a $20 million purchase, Crystal,
and the lawyer fee.
And the lawyer fee. So
and
that's in the opening
fee.
and the closing cost and the surveys and the sale agreement and the valuation and da-da-da-da-da. So you are looking at a cash injection for a $20 million purchase of maybe about $5 million. That's a lot of money. That's a long time saving in your VMI save account. That's 2 years worth of dedication. We want to ensure that you make the very best choices with your hard-earned and hard-saved money so that you don't have any regret. You cannot afford to experience buyer's remorse with real estate. It's not that fabulous gold pair of shoes and those mules, and we like it today, but because you're standing, Christian, you say, okay, this squeeze a little bit, let me carry it back and see if I can get a refund. And for particularly if our clients in the diaspora where you know you can return things even with the tag off, you cannot return the house.
It's a hardcore commitment.
It is a hard stop and you've gotten it. So guess what? It is important that you rely on experts to guide you, and not just any experts. You want to rely on persons that don't have a trust deficit. Now, if there is one name, if there's one institution in Jamaica that people trust, it is this, the VM Group. We grew up with it. We know these are reputable persons that you can deal with. We're personable. We understand because we've been there. We've been doing this for 146 years. You do not weather recessions, depressions, World War I, World War II, the Cold War, the Great Depression, COVID, etc. You don't weather all of that, and then locally, the 90s and the financial meltdown. You don't weather that unless you know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
So if we can weather all of that, I think we can manage to buy your house, right?
Yes.
I think we can handle that process.
Or build up on your land.
I'm just saying, we got this.
Listen,
Yes.
dust your shoulders off because you've been in the arena.
I'm not
doing the
I'm not
work.
sure how to do it.
Same
Like this?
Allison. So I know one of the things that can really frustrate you is the process before you even get to making up a deposit, just the process of identifying land and establishing an agreement with the seller. One of the things that caused me to almost tear out a lock was when I found out that the loan from the financial institution is aligned to the valuation of the property.
Absolutely.
Not what the seller is telling you that them decide it values.
Yes.
So what are some of the mistakes that first-time buyers would make just because you just have no experience and you haven't sat with an expert yet? And how do you help us to avoid those things?
Absolutely fabulous question, and I'm so happy that you can relate having gone through the process. So the first thing that we tell persons to do is not look for the house. Yeah, I'm not crazy. When persons come to us and they say to you, so let's just do a pre-assessment. Let's just have a discussion. They say, no man, I went on your website and I found the property, and I said, but actually that's the last thing that you're going to do. And they look at me like I have horns coming out of my head. So the first thing you do is make sure that you are prepared financially. And or my colleagues would have spoken about that, the steps that you can take. Once you are prepared financially and you have your pre-qualification letter, then you approach us at VM Property Services. So you will be assigned a realtor, an expert that had to go to school. So similarly to how the attorneys have to attend school and the doctors have to attend school, yes, Crystal, the realtors must attend school. It is a regulated industry by the Real Estate Board in Jamaica, and man, do they have some teeth. You have to abide. You have to refresh yourself every year on what is happening in the industry. You have to know how to protect your clients from anti-money laundering, scams, etc.
And you assign
So
a
we
realtor.
assign a realtor to the person, and then when you get the realtor, you are tapping into knowledge. And the realtor is going to walk with you and they're going to find the property. And when they find the property after doing all the assessment, so we're going to ask you a lot of things, because it's not just about, oh, I want a 6-bedroom or what I can afford. It's questions like, so where do you work? Have you assessed the traffic to and from work? Where do your children go to school?
It's a whole
It's a holistic approach. You understand? So we have to look at distance travel, productivity loss, moving back and forth. We have to look at safety. There are certain persons with certain occupations in Jamaica where safety is a large concern. So we want to make sure that they can do that. We look at, okay, do you have children? Do you like green spaces? How comfortable are you in a communal setting? Do you understand what it means if you buy into a strata? The strata is the apartment living. So the legal term is a strata, but we call it apartment complex because we're Jamaicans, right? So do you know what it means to live in an apartment complex? To pay a fee different from your maintenance. And then you have your mortgage. So we're going to do all of those assessments. And we're going to get the valuation on it. And we're going to say to you, you have to allow us to negotiate on your behalf using the scientific findings in the valuation report. So it's scientific. So like how the realtors have to go to school, the valuers have to go to school.
So when you say negotiate on my behalf,
Okay.
you mean that I don't have to call back the seller
No,
and
ma'am.
say,
No, no,
but
no.
there's a $10 million difference between so
No,
and
man.
so.
So
Oh yeah,
that,
do
that is
rob
what
me?
your realtor is for. So your realtor is going to stand up like Captain America and
Oh
they're
my
going to
goodness.
avenge on your behalf. And they're going to present proof of why we should engage in a negotiation
Wow.
for a mutually rewarding transaction between vendor and purchaser.
I think that's a game changer.
It is a game changer, and that is why you need a realtor, you need an expert. So they have insight that you don't. They study trends and analysis, and they see things in the market that can work towards your benefit and your advantage. So your realtor is going to speak for you because, to the point you mentioned earlier, whatever we own as Jamaicans is pride of place, and we think it is worth a lot. And oftentimes that is the case, but ever so often that really is not the case. There's a stark difference between value and worth.
Say that again. For the
There
people
is
in the
a
back.
stark difference between value and worth. What it is worth to you because you grew up there. You have memories.
You know
Your
where I come
grandfather
from.
built things with his hands. Okay? And it's worth a lot to you and you attach sentimental value to it. But what is it valued in modern day? What is the type of material that was used to construct it? Is it nog? Is it cement? Is it fabrication? What is the kind of roof? Can you replace that roof again? Is it very flammable? Is it weather resistant? So we understand. So your realtor has to explain to you the difference between value and the worth. Because the vendor might think that, okay, I need to sell this for $46 million because it's long time I have it in the family. And
And the value must go.
I have a Julie mango tree and this thing there on a back, right? So
Yes,
it's
I have kid, I have pear tree.
I have pear tree and all of them something there. But guess what? Insurance company said the replacement cost is about 26 million and they don't recommend that we lend, more than about 30 million on this. So this is where you need your realtor now to use the scientific research in the report and negotiate. So we have a twin armor, the valuation report and the surveyor's ID report, because we don't want you to buy any property where later on you have a situation. There was a recent high profile discussion this week in the media where a judgment came down, a claim was made against someone in terms of encroachment on their property, and it actually cost the defendant to pay $1 million to make the dollars. So it can actually cost you. So if you don't get these two things, they're like your Bible, to rely on them to make this once in a lifetime financial decision and also to use the expert to interpret it. Because it's like when you get a doctor's prescription and you take it up and you try to read and you try to understand what are the words in there.
I thought it was a six, but you
Yeah.
wrote L-O.
And then you say, oh, doctors got to school to learn to write like this. But you go to the pharmacy and she look at it and she starts to fill it. Why? Because she's trained to interpret it. Your realtor is trained to interpret your surveillance ID report, your quantity surveillance report, so the bill of quantities, they can analyze it. They're trained to read your valuation report. So
And
rely on
remind me of the
expert.
two pieces of information that count as the Bible.
The valuation report and the surveyor's ID
All
report.
right. Now, if somebody is overseas, because one of the things that Ricardo shared is that he has been able to handle transactions for persons he's never met, which means that he can stay in the foreign and get it
Absolutely.
done. What would that process entail from viewing the property to the evaluating portion of it and an actual purchase?
Okay, so that's easy. The technology, I love technology. The same technology that is allowing you and I to talk to persons in the UK and in
Yes.
Australia right now is the same technology that we're going to employ to show you your property. So we do virtual walkthroughs, we do 360 videos, we do drone shots because listen, we're not going to assess the property without looking on the roof because we need to see what is happening up there. So you can, we have equipment at VM Property Services where we put it in a room and it scans and it tells us the location, the area, right? So the square feet of the different spaces in there. And we allow you to see the details of what you are purchasing. So we do that all the time because we understand that most Jamaicans can't leave to come back. You left here with a fire in your soul and a purposeful mission. because you're over there. And we know that sometimes you're working 2-3 jobs and you want persons that you can rely on. You want to know that the decision that you're making is a solid, calculated, curated decision where we assess everything for you. That's where we come in. I have driven to the grill, to White House with my team, and we've done setup so we can send you a video, you can assess it. So the entire process can be handled digitally. The exception to that is where once we've landed on the process, and then VMBS is now preparing your mortgage, and we needed to sign the documents because of the law. For it to be valid, you need wetting signature. Then you just throw it over to you, and that comes back in a week or two. There's no impediment to being overseas at all that stops you. VMBS has locations in Florida, in New York, in Atlanta. We have representatives, and also several locations in the United Kingdom. So anywhere you are in the world, we can reach you. We are a conglomerate. It's a one-stop solution. So you start with VMBS, you come to VMBS, we handle the transaction, we do the valuation, we pass it back to VMBS. So it's a game, all right? It's in the back on. And then you prepare the mortgage, and then we pass it over to our producer institutions, an affiliate company. So you get the insurances, and it's just home sweet home immediately after that. Done and dusted.
And we can't stress enough the importance of trusting the experts, right? Yes, you might have a cousin where didn't bill out one room and said, just send me the money a month time and me work it out. You could do that. You could. But why not trust the experts? Why not trust a team that has been tried, tested, and proven to deliver on their commitment, to make sure that your investment comes true for you and your family? You work hard, you save hard. Don't get too lazy in this last step to lean into the expertise of the VM unit. Now, I hope you made note of what the Bible, the 2 books of the Bible regarding real estate, particularly for residential purposes, would require for the VM team, because hint, your next question is related to what those 2 pieces of information or 2 documents are. But before you leave us, Allison, I wanted to get a sense of the type of properties that are currently available inside the VM Property Services group. Are there apartments? Are we looking at land?
What comprehensive listing? So we have a cadre of available because different persons are on different stages of their financial journey, right? So each person's journey map is different where you are. So we have the starter houses, have properties that can start as low as maybe 10 million Jamaica. We also have land. Your desire is to purchase residential lot, then you can build on yourself. We have commercial, we have starters, we have townhouses, we have so many things. So for the expert, go to our website, vmpropertyservices.com, and we look at what we have. You can filter what you're liking, types of properties that are available. And once you see something that you like, again, the technology, you just click on it, completely contact her, send it, and a realtor will reach out to you. We can have that discussion. So we have residential, commercial, agricultural, and in the residential, we have different categories. So vacant lots, scheme houses, etc. And if it is that you are choosing to not purchase something on the open market and maybe purchase through NHT, then you would go directly to the NHT website, look at their listings, and then focus with our partners at BMDS. So there's a plethora of options. You have no excuse. You know what they say, Crystal, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. And the second best time is now. So substitute tree with house and plant it by. So let us do this.
Absolutely.
Right?
You hear that? From search to signature,
Yes.
VM is your trusted team. And Allison here assuring you that whatever you know or don't know will not stand in the way of getting a reputable agent on your side to navigate and negotiate